Good morning, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and you're listening to Coffee with Kris, the time of the day where we share a cup of coffee and share a bit of the Word of God. Thank you so much for joining me on this Friday morning for a hot cup of coffee and a hot cup of the Word of God. So today's today's Aliyah is going to be taking care of Friday and Saturday. This is our 6th and 7th Sidra Aliyah for our Torah portion this week, which rounds out our Torah portion, and it ends it for this week. It's taken from Genesis chapter 46, verse 28, all the way to chapter 47, verse 27, and we're going to be in chapter 47, verse 4, which reads, "Then they said to Pharaoh," who's they? Joseph's brothers. "Then they said to Pharaoh, 'We came to dwell temporarily in the land.'" I think that's very interesting. There was a famine in the Promised Land, a famine in Canaan. They had to survive, so they had to temporarily go to Egypt. And the brothers are saying, look, we're not going to tax the Egyptian system that much. We're just a handful of brothers, and we're only here temporarily. We're not going to stay forever. We're just going to stay. And, their intentions were just to stay until the famine was over with. But the Lord had them end up staying for several hundred years after that. But it says, "They said to Pharaoh, 'We came to dwell temporarily in the land, since there is no pasture for our flocks that belong to your servants, for the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. So now please let your servants live in the land of Goshen.'" So basically, this world is our Goshen. Our promised land is the new heaven and the new earth. Our promised land is heaven. Yeshua said that his kingdom is not of this current world. It's of the world to come. It's of the next world. So therefore, our citizenship is in heaven. Our true citizenship is on the new heaven and the new earth. So we can look at this world that we're living in as aliens and strangers, that we are temporary residents. Now, Israel stayed like 200 and some years in Egypt when they went down there because of the famine. We're only here 80 to 100 years at best. So we're staying less in this Goshen, in this world that I want to call Goshen today, than Israel stayed in Goshen. And even though it's not the promised land, we look forward to the promised land, because what happened after they left Goshen, after they left Egypt in the Exodus, they made their way to the promised land. It took 40 years, but they ended up going to the promised land. And so our promised land is the world to come. Our promised land is the new heaven and the new earth. So let's just make the best of our Goshen. Now, Goshen was the best that Egypt had to offer. The plagues hit Egypt, but they didn't hit Goshen. Goshen was a very fertile land. They were able to multiply there and become a great nation there in Goshen. Therefore, the Abrahamic covenant of becoming a great nation was fulfilled in the land of Goshen. So the Lord is going to fulfill his promises to us to an extent here in this world that I call Goshen. And the rest of the fulfillment is going to be in our promised land in the world to come. Because when the children of Israel left Egypt and made it to the promised land, a lot more promises of God were fulfilled. So just relax and take it easy and enjoy Goshen to the very best of your ability. We're strangers, we're foreigners, we're temporary residents, just as the brothers told Pharaoh, hey, we don't plan on staying here forever. We're just temporary residents. We're just waiting out the famine. Well, we're waiting out a famine of sorts, and we're waiting for that promised land to come. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shalom and God bless.